Ever wish you had a little window into what someone's really thinking? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly that. How you can learn to analyze, understand, and yeah, even predict what's going on in someone else's head. We're basically learning how to read people like a book.
And our guide for this whole thing is a book by Patrick King. Now, he makes this big promise to turn what feels like a complex art into a science that, get this, anyone can learn. So let's see what he's got for us.
All right, so first up, let's talk about what the author calls the people-reading superpower. You know, that almost magical knack some people have.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You've met someone like this, right? That one person who just gets people. It's like they have this incredible, almost built-in radar for figuring out what makes everyone tick.
They always seem to be a step ahead, don't they? They can predict how you'll react, they can feel it when something's a little off, and they know exactly what to say to be heard. It totally feels like magic. But here's the kicker. The book's big promise is that this isn't magic at all. It's a skill that you, me, anyone can learn. Okay, but before we jump into learning this skill, we got to face a little reality check. See, most of us, we like to think we're pretty good judges of character. But the truth is, we're often completely wrong. And that's because we all fall for some really common mental traps.
Come on, we've all said this, right? I thought they were this way, but wow, I was so wrong. This quote just nails the problem perfectly. Our first impressions, our snap judgments, they are so often and sometimes so dramatically off the mark.
And this really gets to the core of our biggest mistake. We crave simplicity. We want to believe that one weird glance or one slip of the tongue reveals everything. But, you know, people are way more complicated than that. A single cue is just, it's noise. The real magic, the real insight comes from seeing the bigger patterns.
So, here are the exact ways we trip ourselves up. First, confirmation bias. This is classic. We remember all the times we were right about someone and just conveniently forget all the times we were wrong. Makes us feel like a genius, right? Then we ignore context. Big one. That person who won't make eye contact? You think they're lying? Well, maybe they're just shy. Or, as the book points out, maybe they're from a culture like Japan's, where staring someone in the eye is actually seen as disrespectful. And finally, we rely on a single data point. That's like trying to review a movie after seeing only 1 second of it. It's just, you can't do it.
So, okay, if we want to actually get good at this, we have to stop relying on just our gut feelings. We need to shift to a much more rational, almost scientific, data-driven approach.
I love this metaphor the book uses. Think of someone else's mind as a complete black box. You can't see inside. You have no idea what's really going on in there. The only things you can see are the outputs, what they say, how they act, their body language. That's all you've got to work with.
And this is where a really cool concept from psychology comes in. It's called theory of mind. And it's basically our superpower. It's the ability to take all those things we can see, those outputs from the black box, and build a mental model, a sort of best guess about what's actually happening on the inside.
So here's the methodical approach. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, gather data. You become a detective. You observe everything: words, body language, actions, expressions. Step 2, analyze intelligently. This is where you look for those patterns and clusters we mentioned, not just single, isolated clues. And finally, step 3, apply models. Use these proven frameworks to make sense of the patterns and make your educated best guess about what's going on in their head.
Okay, so what are these models he's talking about? What's in the toolkit?
Well, the book goes deep, but let's take a quick look at some of the core tools you'll use.
First up is motivation. You got to ask, what's really driving this person? Are they moving towards something they want, like a goal or pleasure, or are they moving away from something they fear, trying to avoid pain? Figuring out that core drive is absolutely the first key.
Next, of course, is body language. But here's the twist. It's not about that old, oh, they crossed their arms, they must be closed off stuff. No. It's about reading what the book calls message clusters. You look at how their posture, their face, their hands, how it all works together to tell one single, cohesive story.
And finally, there are personality types. You can use proven frameworks like the Big Five to understand someone's more consistent long-term traits. This is huge for establishing a baseline for them. For instance, is this person just naturally anxious, high in neuroticism, or are they super agreeable by default? Knowing that baseline changes everything.
Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking this is all about, getting an advantage or just figuring people out for your own benefit, but this is where the book takes a really profound and honestly unexpected turn.
Because the real goal here, it's not about manipulation. It's about connection. It's about insight. Think about it. When you can genuinely understand where someone else is coming from, you can build bridges instead of walls. You can solve problems. You can forge real, authentic, stronger relationships.
And the real payoffs here? Well, they're huge. You find yourself becoming more compassionate because you start to see the why behind what people do. Your communication skills, they go through the roof. Same for negotiation. You even get better at setting boundaries for yourself. But there is one more benefit, and it might be the most powerful one of all.
And here it is. This is the unexpected side effect. While you're busy learning how to read other people, their motivations, their biases, their habits, you can't help but turn that same sharp lens back on yourself. You start to see your own patterns with incredible clarity. So really, the final question isn't just what will you learn about other people, it's what will you discover about yourself?